Welcome to our weekly discussion of all things current in California politics. I'm Walt Gray, joined this week by the reporter Emily Hoeven, political columnist with the San Francisco Chronicle. Emily, welcome back. Good to see you again. So here we are again. Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis. They are going to debate, maybe in early November. That works for Newsom. If we look through this as in a prism of DeSantis is running for president, Newsom is not, it doesn't make sense. How about we just look at it this way? They're dueling governors who don't see eye to eye.
Yeah, it's really interesting. This debate that Governor Newsom has been pushing for months now at this point. He has sort of framed it as a red state versus blue state debate. I think I can envision him wanting to talk about different rates of, gun deaths, education, access to reproductive health care, maternal health, things like that, economy. There's going to always be that push and pull because, Florida and California are some of the biggest states in the union. There are many Californians that have left for Florida in recent years, and that's something that DeSantis has said repeatedly. But California still has claim to being, the biggest economy in the U.S. in terms of the states, and perhaps the fourth biggest in the entire world. So I think that's going to be a big point of contention. But for me, it is interesting to sort of have this matchup of a presidential candidate and a governor who seems to be teetering on the edge of maybe being a presidential candidate. And I actually feel like for DeSantis, it's a sign that he maybe is, not performing as well in the presidential polls as he might have liked, that he's now returning to debate the Governor Newsom.
Yeah, I could see this as a win-win for both of them. Going in, we'll see who dominates that discussion. But again, credit to Governor Newsom for going on Fox, moderated by Sean Hannity. So, hey, he's like, let's do this. Change in leadership in the Assembly in California, in leadership. So where do you see, is there a problem with this?
I think that there's actually an opportunity for some positive change in the state assembly, which has been led for the past 7 years by Anthony Rendon. And in June, Robert Rivas took over. Both Democrats, they have very similar political ideologies. But I think where we could see some positive shifts happening, as I write about this week, is the fact that Rivas has a very different leadership style than Rendon. Rendon was very hands-off, did not really get involved in the day-to-day debates, allowed the chairs of various committees to exercise a lot of control over whether bills passed out of their committee or even got a hearing, which sometimes stifled, in my opinion, a bit of the democratic process and democratic debate. And Rivas has indicated that he's going to be a lot more hands-on in helping to usher through important bills, which I think is really important when it comes to issues like housing, criminal justice. We want to see more active involvement to ensure those bills actually have a chance to be debated and possibly even passed.
You also penned a column in the Chronicle talking about the state's failure to help mentally ill people with a criminal background. What did you find?
Yeah, well, there was a recent event in San Francisco that was very horrifying, where an 88-year-old Asian woman was knocked to the ground very violently. And the person that was charged in that assault had also been convicted of assaulting another elderly Asian person in Oakland several years ago. And this is a person that had a history of very severe mental illness. He had been in and out of homelessness, prison, jail. And he had wanted to be placed in a locked mental health facility because he was aware of the fact that he was dangerous and violent. But the state's entire process of handling that has been poor for years. And it's very difficult for mental health facilities to accept people that are violent and have criminal records because of the liability, the severity of the needs. And so what ends up happening is people get rejected. This specific person was rejected 8 times from various mental health facilities. They end up on the street and they pose a danger to themselves and to others. And so I really think it's a wake-up call for the state that they need to ensure the facilities are accepting these folks, because otherwise we're going to end up with, what just happened. Yeah, indeed. Seems to be no end to that. Emily, thank you. Always good to see you. Have a good rest of your weekend. You can reach out to Emily Hoeven if you'd like to. She's at emily.hoeven@sfchronicle.com.